The year was 1066, a turning point that would forever change the destiny of England. Across the narrow waters of the English Channel, a storm of ambition and conquest was gathering. Harold Godwinson, recently crowned king after the death of Edward the Confessor, faced threats from all sides. From the north came Harald Hardrada, king of Norway, claiming the English throne. From across the sea, William, Duke of Normandy, nurtured his own claim, rooted in promises and oaths that tangled loyalties in a web of medieval politics. England, though seemingly secure, teetered on the edge of war, its fate balanced on the courage, cunning, and fate of men whose names would echo through history. Harold's response to these threats was swift, yet fraught with peril. News of Hardrada's invasion reached him in the north, forcing him to march an army across England at breakneck speed, confronting the Norwegian king at Stamford Bridge. The battle that ensued was brutal and decisive, Hardrada falling and his forces crushed. But the victory came at a cost. Harold's troops were exhausted, their numbers diminished, yet there was no respite. From the south, reports of William's landing at Pevensey arrived, bringing the looming reality of another confrontation. The English army, battered by one battle, was compelled to march again, this time to meet a foe whose reputation for military skill and innovative tactics had spread across Europe. William, meanwhile, had orchestrated a campaign with meticulous precision. Months of preparation saw ships built, men gathered, and intelligence collected. The Norman Duke understood that success required more than brute strength. It demanded strategy, discipline, and the ability to adapt in the heat of battle. As his fleet approached the Sussex coast, the very earth seemed to tremble beneath the weight of an impending clash. Norman knights, armored and mounted, readied themselves alongside archers, whose arrows would rain death and disarray. William, calm and calculated, embodied the patience of a general who knew that history favored the bold and the prepared. The morning of the battle revealed a landscape that would become legendary. Senlac Hill rose with a gentle slope, its crest offering the Saxons a defensive advantage. Harold arrayed his forces atop the ridge, forming a shield wall, a formidable line of warriors whose cohesion and courage were England's last hope. Behind them stood the thanes and levies, men drawn from all corners of the realm, their loyalty fierce, but their fatigue profound. Every eye scanned the horizon for the signal of attack, every hand gripped weapons worn from previous engagements. Across the field, Norman forces spread out, their banners fluttering and their formations disciplined. The stage was set for a confrontation that would echo across centuries. As the Normans advanced, the battle erupted with a fury that defied imagination. Archers released volleys that darkened the sky, yet the shield wall held firm. Norman cavalry thundered forward, battering against the Saxon line, testing for weaknesses, probing for openings. Time and again the defenders repelled them, the clash of swords and the cries of men mingling in a cacophony of war. William observed, adapting his tactics, ordering feigned retreats that lured sections of the Saxon line into vulnerability. The strategy was subtle, exploiting human instinct and discipline, transforming moments of retreat into opportunities for decisive strikes. Hours passed, each minute stretching into eternity for those on the field. Saxon endurance met Norman ingenuity in a brutal ballet of violence. The shield wall, once unbroken, began to show cracks as William's forces employed archers to pick off key defenders and cavalry to exploit the gaps. Every fall of a warrior shifted the momentum, every shout and command a pivot point in the dance of fate. Harold, fighting with unmatched valor, sought to rally his men, moving from point to point, embodying the heart of resistance. Yet the relentless pressure of the Norman assault, combined with the exhaustion of previous battles, slowly tilted the balance. In a pivotal moment, Norman knights feigned retreat once more, drawing portions of the Saxon line down the slope. The trap snapped shut as hidden forces turned upon them, slicing through men who had stepped out of position. Chaos spread, and the cohesion of the shield wall fractured. Amidst the turmoil, Harold stood defiant, yet a fatal arrow struck him, piercing the eye and bringing his reign and life to an abrupt end. With their king fallen, the Saxon forces wavered, courage giving way to disarray. William seized the moment, pressing the attack with the precision of a commander who understood that hesitation could cost victory. The battle tilted irrevocably, the outcome cemented in the heat of blood and steel. The aftermath was both immediate and profound. William's forces, victorious yet weary, had secured a decisive foothold on English soil. The loss of leadership left England in turmoil, its political and social structures vulnerable to the sweeping change that Norman rule would impose. The conquest did not end at Hastings, but the victory marked the turning point, the moment when the fate of England shifted. Castles rose, the feudal system took root, and the culture of the land transformed under the influence of Norman customs, language, and law. The ripples of the battle spread far beyond the field, altering the trajectory of an entire nation. In the grand tapestry of history, the Battle of Hastings stands as a testament to the power of preparation, leadership, and strategy. It was not merely a clash of armies, but a collision of wills, a convergence of ambition, and a theater of human courage and folly. William's triumph was as much a product of meticulous planning as it was of battlefield prowess, while Harold's defiance and sacrifice symbolized the resilient spirit of a people facing overwhelming odds. The narratives of individual heroism intertwined with the sweeping currents of history, creating a story that continues to captivate, inspire, and instruct. As we reflect upon that fateful day, the echoes of clashing swords and falling shields remind us that history is written not just by those who triumph, but by the intricate dance of preparation, circumstance, and human endeavor. The Norman conquest was not inevitable, yet through strategy, persistence, and courage, William carved his destiny upon the land of England. Hastings became more than a battle. It became the fulcrum upon which the future of a nation pivoted, a moment when the ambitions of men reshaped the world they inhabited. From the ridge of Senlac Hill to the hearts and minds of those who bore witness, the story endures, a vivid chronicle of conflict, ambition, and the indelible human spirit.